everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Okimale here in Abuja. Some very long years ago, when the June 12 election happened, a lot of euphoria, a lot of anticipation on a day as this, a day before the election. But then it's now our Democracy Day, June 12, and Channels Television will be bringing to you a special program, an intergenerational conversation about Nigeria's democracy, our democratic journey, and the future. A lot of the conversation don't involve the present generation who are aspiring to be leaders, those who are younger when the June 12 was a thing. But then we'll be having conversations tomorrow right here. Please don't miss out on it. It's going to be, well, a very interesting one. But tonight on the program, we're looking at a lot of issues. What the president said, what the minister of the FCT says, and of course we'll be getting a right of reply about Atiku Abubakar. We'll be hearing directly from the former vice president right here on the program. Plus another very strong supporter of President Bola Tinubu. This man, nearly anything you tell him, he will give a defense on why Tinubu is the best choice for Nigeria in this moment. Interesting conversation tonight it poses to me. But first, let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
The Court of Appeal Abuja has struck out two motions filed by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and awarded cost of 100,000 naira against him. A three-member panel of the appellate court, presided over by Justice Haman Barka, struck out the motions following the request for withdrawal of the appeal by him. In the appeal, Akpabio sought relief, which includes an order of the court enlarging the time within which he may seek leave to appeal against the decision of the Federal High Court Abuja in the suit between Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan versus the Clerk of the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and three others, delivered on March 10, 2025, on the grounds of mixed law and fact as contained in the proposed notice of appeal. In its ruling, the appellate court held that the application seeking to withdraw the two motions was granted and the motion struck out. The sole administrator of Rivers State, retired Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, says there was a lack of cooperation from suspended officials in the state in the preparation of the 2025 budget. Rear Admiral Ibas said this when he appeared before the House Ad Hoc Committee on Rivers State for the defense of the 2025 budget proposal of the state submitted by President Bola Tinubu.
As of May 2025, total revenue inflows were 597.14 billion naira, which is only about 4% less than our projection.
The national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, has warned the party's 2023 presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, against blackmailing the party. Abure issued the warning in a statement by the National Secretary, Omar Ibrahim. The warning came in the wake of an interview Mr. Obi on a TV station, wherein he reportedly alleged that the APC-led federal government has infiltrated the leadership of the Labour Party and is fomenting crisis in the party. A former Director General of the Nigeria Television Authority, Professor Tony Redia, has called for the adoption of direct voting system where all card-carrying members of parties are allowed to vote to choose candidates that will represent their parties in elections. Professor Redia, who was speaking at a function in Abuja, says direct primaries is more effective in choosing the true candidate of the people because it takes away the option of manipulation of a few delegates by interested parties who have more financial or political influence.
People were criticizing that open ballot does not allow the sanctity of the voter. That is, it exposes who you voted for, and therefore removes that sanctity that should have been an election. So we should not make the mistake of taking option A4 to be an election kind of voting system.
Thank you so much, everyone. There you have it. You've been served with your political roundup stories. So let's begin tonight by letting you know what happened earlier today when President Bola Tinubu openly gave an open ticket, a welcoming invitation to the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike. We do know that the minister is a member of the People's Democratic Party, but the president says he will welcome the FCT minister into the APC whenever he chooses to join him officially. Take a listen to him.
The government has played its part. We did not ignore it. We did not worry about protests. And as I commissioned this road, insisting glory of God Almighty, affirmed our commitment that we will continue to build, we will continue to serve the people, no matter how much the naysayers pursue their politics. We have somebody in Nyesom Wike. He's not a member of my party, not yet. But the day he changes his mind and registered with Progressive, we will welcome him. Because we will enjoy him in singing. As he dey pain us, he dey sweet us.
As he dey pain them, he dey sweet us. As he dey sweet us, he go dey pain them.
Thank you very much.
Interesting. That song is gradually becoming a national anthem for political activities, isn't it, for some people? But well, the minister, when he was speaking, when he had a turn, of course he was speaking before the president at that commission today, the minister is dismissing the planned coalition by some political heavyweights in the country, including ex-Vice President Atiku Abubakar, planning to unseat President Bola Tinubu in 2027 election. He's saying that that plan and that agenda is bound to fail. Take a listen to Nyesom Wike.
This morning I hardly watch some stations. I hardly. But sometimes, I don't know how spiritually I was touched. I was touched to just tune in. I was watching. I didn't know that people can be paid. I didn't know. And now I know that such people are paid. My duty now is to make sure not to give them high blood pressure. As they pain them, they go to sweet us. As they sweet us, they go to pain them. That's my job. That's my job. That's my business. I will be happy every time, moving, laughing. And then they will be there fighting and shouting and killing themselves. So, Mr. President, we want to thank you that we are part of this, what is going on, the revolution that is going on. Your good work and skilled coalition. Abuja Busa should tell you, please, they are happy that even though you are giving them 10 days, there are ones will be shared by the VP, Senate President, and Speaker. But please help us, so that these people who say they are not happy, their BP will go up. By Friday, we'll go to Apo, 15-kilometer road to Wasa. By Monday, we'll be N5 life camp. By Tuesday, I not care for that. So they won't know what to do. Coalition is bound to fail, and it has failed.
Right. That's the minister of the FCT, a member of the PDP, Nyesom Wike. Now, there's been a lot of people who never wished President Bola Tinubu becoming Nigeria's president. In fact, they did not hide their feelings. They went to the street, not only in this country, but outside of this country. But it does look like a lot of activities or a lot of water has gone under the bridge. And in that sense, some of them, maybe they are born again or they've changed their mind, or there's something that they now believe in to make them now think that President Bola Tinubu, they wish never become president, and now president, and they're totally in support. One of them is an ex-aide to a former president, Goodluck Jonathan, an author and a columnist, Mr. Reno Omokri, who is being a defiant critic of President Bola Tinubu prior or leading up to the 2023 elections. And in fact, he was one of those who went on a shame him protest in London and at the Chatham House. Now, Mr. Omokri is one of those who is singing the praises of President Bola Tinubu and defending some of the policies of the government. Mr. Omokri is live for us virtually from Lagos. Thank you so much, Mr. Omokri, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me, Sean.
Are you a born-again Bola Tinubu follower, or where did the change happen?
Well, there's a saying, results cancel insults. You have to understand something there. We had a manifesto, which I was a part of putting together. That's the People's Democratic Party Presidential Manifesto. We said we're going to do certain things. The first, we're going to remove fuel subsidy. The second, we're going to float the naira. The third, we're going to devolve power from the federal government down to the local levels. And then we're going to have student loans. All of these four things that we said we're going to do, President Bola Tinubu is doing them, and he began doing them on day one. Like I told you, results cancel out insults. So when I saw the results that the president was doing, I decided that, okay, this is a man to be supported. You got to recall, Nigeria is our goal, and we are goal-oriented. I'm a goal-oriented person. So when I see that the goal that I had is being promoted by the president, why should I fight him? He's doing exactly the things that we said we're going to do. And it all goes back to his political roots. His political roots are the Social Democratic Party. And you got to remember that our own presidential candidate, Waziri Atiku Abubakar, had his political roots in that party. So they are both progressive. So it's not surprising that at the end of the day, they said we're going to do the same thing. And when we saw that this man is delivering results, not activity, I think it's wrong for anybody not to support him, because Nigeria is our goal.
In December of 2022, you were one of those who went to the street, and it was hashtag harass Tinubu out of London. And there were a lot of things you said, unprintable words, that I may not be able, because of regulatory rules and all that I may not be able to say. You called the president, the then candidate of the APC, unprintable names. You say that he does stuff that are criminal. You said a lot of things about him. Have you changed your mind about what you know about him, or what prompted you? You said part of what prompted you to start supporting him, but as a man you knew before then, has it changed now?
You have to understand that I am probably the most meticulous fact finder in Nigeria. September 19th, 2022. Prior to that date, a lot of people had said President Bola Tinubu, as he then was a candidate, that he did not graduate nor attend Chicago State University. Now, what did I do? I'm sure you remember, Sheon. I did not just join them in saying that he did not go to Chicago State University. I actually physically went to Chicago State University. I went there and I verified that the man went to Chicago State University. And I was being interviewed on Arise TV, and the Arise TV interviewer, Sheon, you remember that video? He was insisting, this is even before that December protest, he was insisting that President Bola Tinubu did not attend Chicago State University. And I said, no, I had been there and I verified that he attended. So that was way back before. I think that interview was in November. I was in Peru. And then subsequently, I did the protest at Chatham House because of my party. I was a party man. My party had talked to me. We said, look, we needed to have a protest. And as a party man, I did that protest. Subsequently, we went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court invalidated everything that we did that protest for. I don't want to repeat the reason why we did that protest. You know, it had to do with a judgment in Chicago. And then we had that judgment go all the way to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, no, this is not what the judgment said. This is what the judgment said. And so because of that decision by the Supreme Court, I had to, just like I dropped and I, let's say I neutralized that allegation against the president, I also neutralized what we did at Chatham House. So you have to understand, everything I do follows facts.
That was not the only thing. It was not about his educational background that you were agitating about and you went to the street. There's a particular thing that you said and which you know.
Yeah, that is what I addressed. I mean, maybe you're not listening to me.
I did.
That particular issue, it stemmed from a Chicago court. And the Supreme Court, it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the interpretation that maybe the general public, of which I was, gave it is not what it was. I mean, I could go further, although I would not like to mention it. It said that the charges and the conviction were not against the candidate, Bola Tinubu, at that time. It was against certain accounts. And just as I was able to drop the Chicago issue when I went and verified, after that judgment, I dropped that. Because you have to follow facts. You cannot follow emotions. Emotions are unstable. Facts are stable.
Well, in all of this, at a time, you do not believe in the capacity, either mental, educational, or even a political capacity of the then candidate of the APC, as it then was, the candidate of the APC, now the president of Nigeria, compared to the likes of Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi.
No, that's not accurate. No, that's not accurate. Please go back.
You didn't think.
I always said it is accurate. It is accurate for Waziri Atiku Abubakar. But if you go back, even during the campaigns, I always said that candidate Bola Tinubu was better than Peter Obi. I never said that Peter Obi was better than him. So that statement is correct.
So is it a factual for you now? And because you like to talk about facts and data. Would you still considering? I watched an interview with Mr. Peter Obi on another television who was talking about the things that this president has done and the fact that they could have been done in a more organized way. Some similar policy decision as enshrined in their different manifestos, but it was badly handled by the APC and the Bola Tinubu government. Do you see all the view that the president and his party, APC, are better, or, I mean, Peter Obi is not better than them in terms of how they envision these ideas?
I still hold that view that the president is by far better than anything Peter Obi would have done. And we can go into specifics. What Peter Obi was talking about the president doing, that the president mishandled, was false subsidy. And Peter Obi was being clever by half, because after he gave that interview, I brought out another interview that he had given. Incidentally, that interview was on Channels, where he told the public that if he was elected as president, false subsidy would go immediately. He said it, immediately. So what did the president do? The president took out fuel subsidy on day one, immediately. So how would he have done it differently from the president? I mean, he was being dishonest, because there is nothing that the president would have done that he would have done. Because he said he was going to remove fuel subsidy immediately, which is what the president did. And if you look at the World Bank, if you look at the IMF, these guys have said that what the president did was right. It brought some pains, but it was a necessary decision. But let's assume that these Bretton Woods institutions, the World Bank and the IMF, maybe they are new colonialists. So let's take them aside. What about Moody's? What about Fitch? In the whole world, Fitch is the #1 ratings agency. And Fitch has upgraded Nigeria to a stable B positive, because they said the reforms by the Bola Tinubu administration are working, especially the removal of fuel subsidy and the flotation of the Naira. After they did that was last year, I think that was on December 17th. And then, soon afterwards, Moody's followed, and they upgraded Nigeria. Now, you can see that the reforms, especially the removal of fuel subsidy and the flotation of Naira, are working. This gentleman met the debt profile for Nigeria for $108 billion. Right now, as I speak to you, our debt is now $94 billion. So $14 billion are reduction in our debt. And it's not just with the federal government. Almost all states have reduced their debt load. Why? Because the federal allocation to the states has increased, in some cases doubled, in some cases tripled. So because of the removal of fuel subsidy, we are seeing tangible actions. So I completely disagree with Peter Obi. Peter Obi, as governor of Anambra, is the only governor in the last 26 years that increased poverty in Anambra. The two governors before him did not increase poverty. The governor after him did not increase poverty, but Peter Obi increased poverty. So he does not have the moral authority to talk. And then he said something about, criminality. Look, of all the major presidential candidates in the last election, only one person was indicted by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalism for fraud, and that was Peter Obi in the Pandora Papers, where he was accused of illegally taking money out of Nigeria and putting it in foreign accounts. Recently, in that same interview, he said that he left $150 million and 36 billion naira into the Anambra State coffers. That is actually a lie. This is a man that left 127 billion naira debt. Please, you can fact check me. And if you quantify the debt with the money that he left behind, the debt was more than what he left behind. And even what he left behind, some of it he claimed was in assets. For example, he said that he had invested some of the Anambra State government money in Interfax breweries. And if you go back and look, he invested, I think it was about $12 million. Today, that $12 million investment at Interfax breweries is now worth $5 million. And even the worst part of it is that the money that he said he kept them in his in a bank in which he has substantial shares, about 10% shares. So that means that money was earning interest for that bank, so that money was going into his own pocket. So Peter Obi does not have the moral right to criticize President Bola Tinubu.
So you talked about Atiku Abubakar, and you said the only person you think that out of the two, that you think Bola Tinubu is better off is Peter Obi. But what about Atiku Abubakar? Is Bola Tinubu better than Atiku Abubakar?
I am not going to criticize Waziri Atiku Abubakar, and I'm not going to compare him with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What I will just say is that if an election is held today, tomorrow, or in 2027, I will vote for and I will mobilize people to vote for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Waziri Atiku Abubakar has been good to me. He has been very good to me. He's been a friend of mine. So he was not like a boss. He's been a friend of mine. I'm going to tell you a little anecdote. We were to have a meeting in London, and I thought that I had food poisoning. I didn't know what was happening to me. I thought I was going to die. I was in a terrible way, health-wise. But then everybody at that meeting said, no, Reno, you got to come. You are the ideologue of the People's Democratic Party. We are planning our campaign to unseat President Buhari. You have to come. I spoke to Waziri Atiku Abubakar and I said, look, I'm sick. I don't even know what's the matter with him. I'm about to go to a doctor. Waziri Atiku Abubakar said, please come, Reno. So in that condition, I left my home in California, I flew into London, and then I gave my presentation, and I was going to go back to the airport to leave from London back to California. And Waziri said, no, please stop, Reno. You're not going to California. And then he arranged for me to see a doctor at Knightsbridge. The meeting was at Knightsbridge. He arranged for me to see a doctor at Knightsbridge. He paid for that doctor. This man went over and beyond. And at the end of the day, when I went and saw the doctor, it just turned out that it was a minor thing. They call it shingles. But I did not know about it because it was so minor. But for that act of kindness and other acts of kindness that this man has done to me, I'm not going to criticize him.
At what point did you back out for someone you think that is a benefactor to you?
I am not going to back out of someone that is being a benefactor to me. No. And that's not what happened.
You have chosen sides. You were supporting Atiku Abubakar up until now that you've changed your mind and you started supporting Bola Tinubu.
Allow me land. You see, I am in supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I have not attacked Waziri Atiku Abubakar. If you go back, a lot of people, I think Shegun Showumi was recently on the program. He might have said one or two things that were not complimentary to Waziri Atiku Abubakar. I have never done that. Before I went on a record publicly to say that I am for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I had a conversation with Waziri Atiku Abubakar, and I told him, I said, listen, sir, this is what I'm going to do. This is why I'm going to do it. But I respect my relationship with you. And the man was stunned. And because of that, I didn't quarrel with him. He didn't quarrel with me. We talk all the time. We just finished Salah. You will not believe it. We exchange Salah gifts and Salah greetings. He maintains that good relationship with me. I can bring my phone and show you the conversations that we have. We share jokes. So this man is a proponent of politics without bitterness.
So are you a member of the APC now?
I'm not a member of the APC.
Are you a member of the PDP?
Well, I'm a member of the PDP because I paid membership dues for the PDP for 4 years. So I'm a member of the PDP. However, I am a supporter of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I will support him to the hilt. If he's going to contest the election in 2027, I will work for him.
Let me ask you, in all of this, there are a lot of people who react, and I know the way you take on your online and social media critics. Some of them have called you several names, and I would like to put some of those names to you so that maybe you muted some of their comments or you did not see them. I'd like you to be able to react to some of them. They've called you disloyal. They say that you are lacking integrity. They say you're a sycophant. they say you lack no ideology. That if you were on that side, all of a sudden, something changed. In fact, some of them are accusing you, quotes. They said you are looking for something. Hunger. They say that it is something for your tummy that you're looking. These are some of the words in which they have used to describe you.
Okay, so let's start with disloyal. Former President Jonathan, in his book, Transition As, he called me the most loyal person in his government. You could read that book. He praised me as the most loyal person in his government. Former President Jonathan. Former President Jonathan and I are close like brothers. He's come to spend 10 days with me in California. Former President Jonathan. 10 days with me in California. He's not probably having good relations with some of his spokesmen. I was one of his spokesmen. I am the only one that he has good relationship with. Why? Now, from President Jonathan, because he did not contest again, our party produced Waziri Atiku Abubakar. So it was natural for me as a member of that party to support Waziri Atiku Abubakar. And until today, Waziri Atiku Abubakar and I are still good friends. We talk. We talked, give me a second, I think we communicated, was that 3 days ago? And even before that, we have regular communications. Waziri Atiku Abubakar has come out publicly to say that some persons were disloyal. He has come out to attack them after they went and supported President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has never said that about me. Now, we go over to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Since I began to support him, I've given unequivocal support. So who have I been disloyal to? Who? The 3 people that I've been working with at this level, all of them have vouched for my loyalty. So are you now going to say that it is one person on social media that doesn't even know my relationship with these people that will gauge my loyalty? No. And then in terms of hunger, listen, I was voted as the most successful and influential business person in Africa by the #1 business magazine in the whole world, Business Insider. I have the most paid subscribers of anybody in Africa on X. Now, if you recall, you interviewed me some other time, Sheon, and I did tell you, I showed you how much I paid in taxes, just taxes. And I told you, I said, look, I give anybody, including my enemies, that they can go and fact check me. These are public documents. So with the amount of money I paid, I don't know if you remember how much I paid in taxes that I showed you. It was a large amount of money. So, I mean, even this month alone, just this month, I'm going to earn at least $10,000 from X. At least $10,000 from X for my subscribers. Money is not my problem. The kind of house I live in the United States and I live in the United Kingdom, the way I travel, I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if you follow me, I travel all around the world. I've been doing this consistently for more than a decade. So that issue is
what do you do to earn a living? Because there are those of them who are saying that you are being paid for the support that you are getting. I mean, that you are giving.
Okay, so who was paying me in between 2015 and 2023 when I was traveling?
So nobody has given you any money in this APC government in the last 2 years?
Why would anybody give me money?
So you are doing this just out of love for Bola Tinubu and the APC?
Okay, I'll give it. No, not just out of love for Bola Tinubu. I'm doing it for love for Nigeria, not love for Bola Tinubu. Okay, right now I'm in Lagos. I don't live in Lagos. Why did I come to Lagos? I came to Lagos because people had spread misinformation about the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. I bought tickets with my own money. I came. I gathered journalists from Arise, from Premium Times, from Vanguard, from Silverbird, from Leadership, from Control TV. Then I gathered members of the public, ordinary people, members of the public. I got vehicles for them. I put them in vehicles. I bought drones with my own money. And I said, okay, they can go on drones. And they verified that the road was indeed 30 kilometers complete. Why did I do that? I did not do that for President Bola Tinubu, but I did that for Nigeria. Okay, 2019, when we had the election, INEC postponed the election. A lot of people were stranded. I don't know if you recall. The BBC carried it and they praised me. I got buses with my own money. I got 12 large coastal buses to ferry people who had been stranded because of the election postponement to their homes. While in those buses, I gave them food and I gave them money. So this is patriotism. Nigerians are not used. Let me land. Please, let me land. Nigerians are not used to patriotism. So when they see patriotism, they believe that you have to have been paid to be patriotic.
So this is the manner in which I would like us to wrap up this conversation. You have defended and you said this government is doing well and the policies are in in the right place. So there are those who will be asking the question, if the policies are right, why are more Nigerians suffering? Why are more people not benefiting directly from what we have described as the good performance of the Bola Tinubu government in the last 2 years? Opposition has said that this government has failed Nigerians in the last 2 years.
Let me answer that question. Now, I'll start with one of the issues that Peter Obi raised in his interview. He said that people protested when the Naira was 216 Naira to $1. Why aren't people protesting now that the Naira is 1,565 Naira to $1? And it's very simple. The Naira was never 216 Naira to $1. It was never 150 Naira to $1. That was the subsidized Naira. The federal government at that time, beginning from President Obasanjo, even before him from Shagari, for about 45 years, had been subsidizing the Naira. It got to the point under the Muhammadu Buhari administration that we were spending $1.5 billion subsidizing the Naira every month. Now, this was not money that we had. This was money that we borrowed. As a matter of fact, the Buhari administration borrowed about 38 trillion Naira through what they call ways and means. It was driving this country into debt that we moved from a foreign debt of about 10.7 billion to a foreign debt of about $58 billion by the time Muhammadu Buhari was handing over power to President Bola Tinubu. And President Bola Tinubu said, no, we are no longer going to subsidize the Naira. Let us float the Naira like other countries do. And what happened? When they floated the Naira just sank to 1,565 Naira. And that is because of sound economic policies. Now, Nigeria is now having a trade surplus. What a trade surplus means, for those who don't understand it at home, is that we are now exporting more than we are importing. So our trade surplus for last year was $14.1 billion. What it means is that we sold more than we bought, and the change that we had is $14.1 billion. Why is it? It's because foreign exports are now so expensive to Nigerians that Nigerians are now buying made in Nigeria goods. And because they're now buying made in Nigeria goods, we're now having a trade surplus. But Nigeria used to be the #1 fuel importer in Africa. We are no longer the number one fuel importer in Africa. South Africa has overtaken us. As a matter of fact, we are now the #1 fuel exporter in West Africa. So these policies are working. People can go out and start talking about populism because they want people to be happy, and they know people are ignorant, and they start to tell them that, oh, Naira has collapsed. They don't want to tell them the truth, that the Naira has not collapsed. The Naira has just been floating.
All right. We need to stop there, but I'm very sure that a lot of Peter Obi supporters be wondering. Some of them have said that Peter Obi is your nightmare. You can't do without talking about Peter Obi.
Oh, how can Peter Obi
is
be
your greatest nightmare.
Anytime
Reno Omokri hears Peter Obi, you shiver and you are afraid that's their own president, according to the Obi.
Listen to this. I need to respond to that. I mean, how can I be afraid of Peter Obi? Peter Obi is the one that is afraid of me. His spokesman, his official spokesman, Valentine Obianye, his official spokesman, every single day, he is on my Facebook profile, my X profile, and on Instagram, insulting me, attacking me every single day. I challenge Nigerians to go there. Why? Because they are afraid of me.
Why? Why would they be afraid of you? You're not running for president. You don't have the roots as much in Nigeria. You live abroad.
No, but every time Peter Obi lies, I debunk the lies. For example, I was able to bring out facts to counter what he said, that he left $150 million and 36 billion naira. I brought out facts today to prove that, no, this man left a debt profile of 127 billion. So when you subtract what he left from the debts that he had, this man actually left a red for the Anambra State government, not assets.
Reno Omokri is an author, a columnist, and an ex-aide to a former president, Goodluck Jonathan. Thank you so much indeed, Reno Omokri, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sheon, for having me. May God bless you.
Thank you. So we take a break, everyone. When we return, it's going to be a right of reply from Mr. Atiku Abubakar's media aide. Mr. Paul Ibe is going to be responding to some of the comments made by a member of the PDP and a former member of the House of Reps about the coalition, the state of the PDP, and the 2027 elections. We'll be right back after this break. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. So yesterday we had a conversation, and that was stemming from these PDP stakeholders, members who met, led by the Minister of the FCT, And they were asking a few questions. Paramount out of that is that zoning of the PDP presidential ticket for 2027 has to go to the south. And a lot of people will mention Atiku Abubakar's name, especially my guest yesterday, Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf. Now, officially, for a right of reply, I'm being joined by the media aide to former Vice President and presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2019-2023 presidential election, Atiku Abubakar. Mr. Paul Ibe is live for us here on the program. Thanks so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sean, for having me.
I'd like to clarify a few things because of the notions that were established here on the program yesterday. First and foremost, is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar still a member of the PDP?
Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has not told anybody. I mean, I was with him, today, this afternoon. And I don't know if you have any information to the contrary, his membership of the PDP. And so people should stop picking, information from here and there, especially from the social media. And we also know what is driving all of this, the fear, of Atiku Abubakar, of the ruling party. This is just what it is all about. To give a dog a bad name to hang it. Atiku Abubakar has never said he's not a member of the PDP.
So he still remains a member of the party?
He's a member of
the
PDP.
So, membership and interest are two different things. So there are those who think, PDP, Atiku is no longer interested. He's leading the opposition. Coalition.
The coalition thing didn't start today. As soon as the election was ending, the 2023, Atiku Abubakar had, reviewed the situation, and he knew clearly that the direction to go was to have a very united, front, especially with what had happened internally in the PDP. So. And that was what he did, reaching out, trying to bring the opposition together. And there is nothing wrong, in that.
So there are those who think that he's no longer, he doesn't have a heart, his heart does not beat the PDP any longer because he doesn't believe that he's a veritable vehicle to achieving an election win.
Atiku Abubakar's heart is beating Nigeria.
Not the PDP.
I mean, let us stop.
When did he stop beating PDP?
This party, I don't understand what you're talking about.
No, is that still beat the PDP?
No, there is a bigger heartbeat, and that's a heartbeat.
But what about the
Nigeria.
smaller one, the PDP heartbeat?
Atiku Abubakar remains a member of the PDP.
And the allegations that his interest is no longer in the PDP.
I mean, who is making the allegation?
Those his interest in ADC, his interest in SDP.
Who are those making the allegation? Is it
true also, Mr. Ibe, that you people have been going to INEC to register a new party?
I'm not aware. Is going to be? I'm not aware of.
I understand that you are in the know.
I'm not in the know.
Have you been to INEC recently?
I'm not aware of any.
Have you been to INEC recently?
I'm not aware of.
Have you been to INEC recently?
I'm not aware of that.
Have you been to INEC recently, Mr.
I'm not aware of a process to register.
Have you been to INEC recently? That's
I'm not aware. I'm not aware of a process to register a political party.
But is there a thinking that a new political party?
I'm not even aware. I'm not even aware. Whatever it is that you're hearing are things that are just in the public domain. A lot of this information is at the instance of the ruling party, trying to give a dog a bad name to hang it. That's what it's all about.
How do you respond to the program of yesterday?
Which
from
program?
What Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf said.
I didn't watch him.
But there have been a lot of views about Mr. Atiku Abubakar, one of which is that Atiku Abubakar cannot get the ticket of the PDP a third time. For 2 times now, it's been bungled, according to them. A third time,
I don't understand about
stand.
These are characters who are undermining, the ability, of the opposition, the main opposition party to effectively, act. These are the people who are in bed, with the ruling party. I mean, it's ludicrous, for the same people who are working to decimate the PDP to now turn around and accuse other people of, doing what they are doing. The former minister, before he joined this administration, did indicate clearly that the C in APC is actually cancer. All Progressives Congress.
the minister of the FCT. And that cancer is metastatic. He is ensuring that. He has a strategy to ensure that the opposition party is killed.
But how do you see it, though? And it's becoming a pattern, isn't it? That Atiku Abubakar has not been able to sustain loyalty of those who have worked with him. He lost Peter Obi. He lost Okowa. And these are people that a lot of people will think, why would you lose those kind of people?
And you think it's about Atiku Abubakar?
Is it about those people?
No, sir. It's about individuals. It's not Atiku Abubakar has remained the same person that he is. I mean, at the heart of Atiku Abubakar is his love for Nigeria. Atiku Abubakar is a pan-Nigerian. I'm a living, testament, to that. I'm an Igbo man from Imo State. I've been with Atiku Abubakar. It cares less about where you're from, what language you speak, and how you worship. And so Atiku has been, people have been coming and naturally. He has mentored a lot of people are coming and going.
Yeah, I mean the feeling, the feeling that it doesn't operate well, handling relationships with those who were Obasanjo's situation as one, Peter Obi situation, because Ifeanyi Okowa too is another issue, and even when he first ran for president, who was his running mate at the time? Do you remember? Senator Obi, isn't it?
No, 2007.
Yeah. So there are those who say, look, Atiku has not been able to maintain those relationships. And the fact that all of this is coming out, and they say, look, they can no longer give the ticket to a man like that.
Is ticket given?
Well, there's a collegiate that donates the trust.
Atiku Abubakar
they give, actually. It's a collegiate. The group of people who determine
Abubakar has had to fight for the ticket all of the times.
But it's been given by members of the party.
Nobody has donated a ticket to
It's a donation.
You contest
for
it.
Trust into the hands of one man to say, go and represent us at the poll.
Contest. So I don't know about, donating, ticket to, listen.
Yeah.
We know what this is all about. And we need to begin to refrain. This is not what we should be talking about. It's not what we should be talking about. Nigerians are suffering, and we are here having a drama. It's a comedy.
We're trying to determine the leadership recruitment process.
No, sir. Because what is happening is that
those who think they have good ideas don't get into power, nothing ever gets done. If people are talking about zoning, for example, Mr. Ibe, have they strategically chased Mr. Atiku out of the PDP?
They don't want us to talk about the realities of our existence.
But today they said that as they pain you, it is treat them. Because they are performing.
Well, it is paining us as Nigerians. I mean, people are suffering. And they don't want us to talk about now. And so we have to talk about 2027.
You heard what Mr. Reno Omokri just said, that the Bola Tinubu government is perhaps the better one that Nigerians could have based on the offer that was on the table for Nigerians at the election.
It's better in security.
But I say it's better.
It's
thought about
not even talking
the economy.
About him. I'm just talking. Let's look at it. Security. Better in security, with all the killings all over the place. Better in inflation, food inflation. Better in the cost of doing the cost of doing business, or the ease of doing business. Better in what way? Better is a relative, what? Yes, it is better for some people. Those, who are linked to body loan. It's better for them. There's no doubt about it.
What is the thinking of Atiku Abubakar? You are his mouthpiece. What does he think about the present government?
It's a total failure.
This government?
It is.
And that commissioned the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, commissioned the ICC,
you saw the,
commissioned another infrastructure.
You saw the controversy around that road. You commissioned 4%. They're even not even sure if it's up to 30 kilometers. And the 30 kilometers is not even contiguous. Sheung, this is it. You commission here. There is a gap. You commission here. What are you talking about? All of this is all about 2027. Focus on the job. Focus on governance. Make life meaningful, better for Nigerians. Make food affordable. Let there be security of lives and property, which is the primary responsibility of any government.
They say that there is
commissioning 30 kilometers.
A temporary pain. And there will be gains at the end of the day.
Where is it? It's the bright day that brings forth the other. There are no signs, Shehu. It's 2 years down the line. I mean, if there are any signs that the remaining 2 years are going to be better, we'll begin to see it.
So there is no hope from your own point of view?
The only hope.
But they're bringing renewed hope. That is the agenda this government is bringing to the table. Renewed hope.
Hope. Hope.
Hope. Hope is a beacon of light.
It is, what? Well, there is no hope that the price of foods are going to get any cheaper. There is no hope.
Would Atiku have done better? That's the question.
I come to compare apples and oranges, Shehu.
Shegun Sowumi said Atiku is, Bola Tinubu is smarter than Atiku.
I don't know about being smart, about relative. Let me tell you about Atiku Abubakar right now.
But that's another man that has left, that looks to have left your principle.
Listen, Atiku Abubakar, tomorrow is Democracy Day, right? And one of the pillars of democracy is freedom of association. People are free to associate with anybody. They didn't fit. Atiku Abubakar, gives opportunities and continues to give opportunity to a lot of people that have passed through him. Okay? And, some of them, as media advisor, I'm sure I have in my files, and we won't get petty and begin to talk about maybe the salaries or whatever, the people that were paid the hotel bills and all of that. We don't need to do that. The point is that Atiku Abubakar gave opportunities to people. And if they choose to go, elsewhere, for whatever reason, it's within their conviction.
So now, if the PDP says we're zoning to the south, don't you think that has precluded Atiku Abubakar in this game?
Well, the PDP has not said that.
And
so let's
the stakeholders, they're agitating. There is 4 former governors, members of the National Assembly.
The FCT minister that has turned his official residence into a PDP, meeting, ground. Is that the people you are talking about, stakeholders?
Will it be fair if Atiku Abubakar gets the ticket of the PDP again?
Fair, I don't understand about fair.
One man, the ticket of the party 3 times.
What is wrong in a man having a desire, to offer his service? It looks like as if, it's now an anathema. Somebody says he wants to offer, services. A man who is well-wired, experienced, has the acumen. I hope Atiku Abubakar went back to school. He has a master's degree. I hope you're aware of that. Where he went to school is not in doubt. I hope you're aware of that there were people that he went to school with. He still interacts with some of them. We know his family. We know his background. We know where he's from. I hope you're aware of that.
Isn't that the same with all the people he was contesting with?
Who, like who?
There are about 18 of them who ran for the election in 2023. What makes him different? What makes him...
Compare him to the man that is there. Since 1999, Tinubu has continued to be a controversial person. The issue of his birth is controversial. The issue of where he's not, according to me, please, with due respect. The issue of where he's from is a controversy. The issue of the school that he went to is a controversy. The issue of his age is a controversy.
But the people,
and you want to compare him.
But those who voted him say they don't care about that.
That's why I say
they just care about if he can deliver to Nigerians.
Sorry?
If they voted, I'm saying we don't care what those controversies. We just want him to deliver to Nigerians.
Okay, we don't care.
No, those who voted him. These supporters don't believe in all what we're saying. He's been governor of Lagos, he's been a senator.
But I mean, since 1999, when Gani Fayemi started the discovery, if it's going to go away, it will have gone away. It hasn't gone away. It hasn't gone away.
But Atiku also has his own controversies.
Like what?
A lot of them, though.
You say,
I don't want us to start
just
today.
mentioned. You say them.
We're not in the business of character.
That's what I'm telling you, that we are being distracted. We're not talking about what Nigerians are going through. We're not talking about the states, of the nation. And we are being distracted to begin to talk about 2027. And that shouldn't be the case. And that is not a concern of Atiku Abubakar.
Your final word tonight, what would it be to the people of Nigeria, especially in the last few days where they think that there are those members of the PDP who don't think that Atiku should be a best fit for the candidature of the PDP?
Nigerians should, keep their eyes, on the ball. They should be focused. Better days, are coming, but we need to work, for it. And that work has to start with ensuring that this administration, is showing the exit door.
In 2027.
That's right. A united opposition is key to all of that. All of the things that are happening that is not going to work is because they're already scared. They are scared of the prospects of the coalition. Otherwise, why has that become a talking point? Whether it succeeds or not is not their business.
All right. Mr. PoliticsToday is immediate to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2023 election. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you, Sean,
for
your
time
me.
as always.
Always my pleasure.
Well, that's it for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. Tomorrow is June 12th. We've got a very fantastic package for you. It's an intergenerational conversation beyond the rhetorics. History, present, we're looking for the future and how we can make Nigeria better. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. I'm sure Kimale. God bless Nigeria.